They'll say something like dog or frog or something that's not what they just blended together. So hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 6 to 8 activities that are for blending, right? So we all have our children who are learning the letter sounds, and we are wondering like, what is the next step? So once they master the letter sounds, we move on to blending. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing activities that has helped my girls and some things that I have found on the internet that I thought would be very beneficial to share if you're stuck, if you don't know where else to go, or like what to do next, or if your little one is having trouble with the blending. Let's get right into the video. If you don't know what I mean about blending is when your child can take individual sounds and blend them into a word. So say for instance you have the word am. They can blend a and to make am, right? And so sometimes in the very beginning our children will blend or say individual sounds like k, a, t. And then when you ask them what the word is, they'll say something like dog or frog or something that's not what they just blended together, and they need a lot of practice, they need a lot of help, and doing some of these activities will definitely help them, right? And so we all go through it. I've gone through it twice, and it's just something that they have to grow through, right? They have to train their ears, they need different strategies and things like that that'll help them with blending. The first step would be to teach your child their letter sounds, right? The correct letter sound pronunciation. Let me say that. Not t, but making sure that you teach them the proper letter sound pronunciation. That way it's easier to blend. Because if you think about it, if you say t, a, t, t, a, t, or if you do t, a, tat, it'll be easier. So the pronunciation is important. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I personally did was work on oral blending. So what I mean by that is, say for instance I said something like at mat. I would do that first, right? And then I had them repeat after me until I kind of felt them grasp the concept, and then I do other words individually for them to do. So say for instance I do something like t, a, and have them tell me what that word is. So you start off initially with 2 letter sounds first. So say something like S-A, S-A, sa, or any letters that your child already knows. I usually start with the letters in my children's name because it's most important to them, but there are different different orders to where you introduce letters. Usually people start with like M, S, P, T, and things like that, because most of the words that they'll see is made up of those letters. But again, it varies, you know, it varies. And the key to this is doing in the beginning, doing continuous sounds or sounds that you can like stretch out. M is one that you could say instead of doing T, because you have to stop it, right? So we started with continuous sounds like M, S, L. So doing the continuous sounds first so they can start elongated. This helps some children get a feel of what they're trying to blend together. That's a really hard thing for them to grasp in the beginning, but if you practice with those sounds, they're going to get it, right? And a way you can do that is, of course, you could take 2 letters. Hold on. Okay, so I had to go gather up some of my children's letters from their name puzzles. So if you haven't grabbed yours, go purchase it, or it may be too late once this video is up. Nonetheless, you can have physical letters, right? And you can ask them to blend it. Of course, you have to model that first. So say for instance, ma. Let me try to prop it up. Hold on, let me see. Ma. Kind of like underlining under like what you go over, and I'll show it on dry erase board, but usually most like activities have dots under the individual letters so that children can point at that. But if you have things already like on the walls, on the refrigerator, visible for where they can go and touch it, that's very helpful. Do this before they master 2 letter sounds, but move on to using things like Play-Doh to make it interactive. So shows the word sit, right? For each individual letter, I can have a little Play-Doh ball rolled up for them to mash. So say for instance the word is sit. I should have prepped a little better, but you can write it out. You can write it out like this, and then you can put individual dots under here. This is where the Play-Doh would go. So, and I'm mashing it, but that's what they need to do. So sit. Oh, this one is not sticking. Okay, so sit. And so what you will have them do is mash in each sound that they say. It, sit, right? So you will have them like blended that way. And this is where you can use things like a car or something that they like so they can drive across or under, especially for boys. They like cars and things like that. So it'll be easier for them to be like engaged, involved, and things like that while they're having fun as well. But Play-Doh is just a hands-on way for them to, you know, actually learn, right? A lot of children need movement and things like that, so this is a great way. And if you don't use Play-Doh, as I said, you can put the dots under the words, and then to help guide them on blending, you would just draw like an arrow like this, or print out something with arrows, and so they'll be like it, sit, right? And so they take practice, but this is a good way to guide them on what to do and how to blend. My next activity is to use something like, the next activity is to use their arms, their fingers to help them blend, right? So say for instance, we were doing the word rug. Tell them to start at the top of their shoulder, rug, rug, and have them blend that way. Now this one, the fingers may work more so when they're trying to learn how to spell. So say for instance, if you give them the word rug and you're asking how many sounds, it would be rug, rug. 3 fingers, 3 sounds, right? So that may not be working as good when they're blending, but it's still a hands-on way for them to figure out you know, how to say different words. Next activity is to use magnetic letters or like tactile letters for them to maneuver or, you know, actually touch, right? I have some magnetic letters on here on this board. As I said, you can have them blend, right? So you can put words up, ag, mag, right? You can move out, at, mat. Now something that works when you're moving on to 3-letter blends is to have them blend the first 2 letters first. I think it's called successive blending or something like that. But what you would do is have them blend M and A first. A, ma. And then from there, you would blend the T. So, a, ma, mat, mat. Now for my children, we kind of went the opposite route where we kind of like did it from the word family itself, at, and then that way, which is backwards and can be confusing for children, but that wasn't my initial approach. So successive blending might be very successful for your child if you start with 2 letters and then add that last letter. So, and you could just manipulate it, right? So, ha, hat. And so for some people, they also go about doing it where you write out the individual letters so that they're going to blend. It's kind of like a pyramid, if you will. Yeah, like for the pyramid, you would just start with 1 letter at the top and then move to 2 letters, then 3 letters. This is kind of how we structure them when they learn to read in actual books. So this may be helpful as well. If you try it out, let me know. I'm going to use the word mop. So the word is mop, and then I'm going to start with just the M at first. Ah, ma, ah, mop, right? And then I think the last activity I have is to use magnetic tiles. So with the magnet tiles, it's the same thing, but my kids love these. They love building with these, so I thought this would be a good activity to practice with. And so you would just write different letters out on here and then connect them together to make words. P-O, p-ah, p-ah, pa, at, oops, am. Having them stretch out the words and things like that, it definitely helps in the beginning because you need to get a feel of what they're blending, but sometimes scratching it out can be a hindrance, right? It just depends on your child. So sometimes you can do like stop letters, which is the letters that don't have anything at the ending, like T. For instance, we did top, t, ah, kind of like breaking it up or making it quick, t, ah, top, instead of saying t, ah, top, t, ah, top. So that works as well. But those are like the main activities that I've done as far as blending. I always start with oral blending first, and then I move on to doing something hands-on. I also work with segmenting as well, so together. And segmenting is where they are able to break down the sounds in the words that you give them, right? So the word is sun. Can they break down each individual sound? Sun. And so for something like that, this is a blending video, but it's for segmenting. Sun, how many times they pull it out? These are a very interesting way to help them learn as well. Kids love sensory type tools and toys. So hopefully this video was helpful. I will link all of the things that I used, the magnetic letters, the Play-Doh, the magnet tiles. I also had some pictures that I think would be helpful. So in the beginning, I don't like to just pull out pictures before I know my children have a good foundation or on blending and stuff like that. But sometimes in the beginning, this is more motivation for them to know that they blend the word right. So say for instance, if you have them blend SAD for sad, have them try it out first, add sad, and then flip the picture over, and they'll be like, okay, he's sad, so I got it right. So this could be something where they're like unsure about what they're blending, but when they turn it over, it gives them confirmation that they did it right. So this can be something that is helpful as well. And as I said, you can work on spelling and blending at the same time. This is what I usually do. So box, have them, you can write these words out on paper, print them off, whatever the case may be. This specific set has sentences on here, so I wouldn't use these in the very beginning, but as I said, have them sound it out. Box, and then, you know, have them flip it over for like self-check or whatever the case may be. What I don't want you to do is kind of like give them the pictures to guess, because that doesn't help them with blending. But those are all of the tools that I have, I think. There is a great resource that I used in the beginning. This document I did not create myself, but it is something that I really think was very useful for my 4-year-old. So let me find that. So I don't know where the resource is, but I may even create my own set for you guys to have as like a free download or whatever the case may be. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if any of these activities are helpful, or if you're going to try some, if you tried some and it did not work. So yeah, as always, see you guys in the next video.